When it comes to paid service sites, one of the biggest frustrations for many people is how to qualify for more surveys. My name is Michael from paidfromservice.com, and I have joined hundreds of paid service sites myself and taken hundreds or even maybe even thousands of paid surveys. And in this video, I'm going to explain some of the reasons why you might not qualify and what you can do to qualify for as many surveys as possible. Before we start, remember to subscribe to my channel so you will get a notification when I release more videos like this, so it can help you get the most out of paid service sites and get paid to sites. I have just jumped to my website paidfromservice.com now, and here I have a whole article talking about this, about how to qualify for the most possible surveys. And the first thing to understand is this about like why is there even surveys you do not qualify because or qualify for, right? Because if you have been a member of service sites, you have seen that maybe you get an invite for a survey and then you try it and then it says you don't qualify, and that's can be very frustrating, and sometimes it can take a bit of patience to actually find the service you qualify for. But like if you do it with the right approach, it will take some of the frustrations away and it will increase your chances of actually qualifying and getting the most surveys you can without wasting too much time. So the first thing to understand is that surveys, right, like service sites, it doesn't mean that they are scams because you can't qualify. That's just the nature of service sites is that they have a survey, and the reason that you and I can get paid for taking it is that there is a company, a research company, that needs answers and feedback about certain topics, and often they need from a specific demographic group. That means sometimes from a specific age, from a specific country, from a specific area in a country, from people with specific interests, and that just means that some surveys we just don't qualify for, and most service sites are not able to completely filter that out before you actually answer some initial screening questions. So like one of the most common reasons here is that you just do not pass the screening, and sometimes it might feel like it happens very often, and it might, and I will get to a little bit later what you can do to try to avoid this, or how to deal with it so it doesn't become too frustrating, and so you still have a good chance of earning as much as you can and getting to share your opinion as much as possible. So another very common reason that you might not qualify is that there are actually, there are some service sites, they're only available in some countries, that you can simply just only join if you live in a certain country. Then it's kind of like easy to understand. But other times there are service sites that you can join no matter where you're from, but they actually don't offer surveys in all countries. It's very confusing why they're even open to all countries, but that's just how some service sites are. So that might be the case if you join a service site and you can actually join, but there are no available surveys, or very few, and the ones that are there you don't qualify for. Then maybe this is one of these sites, and again later I will show you how you can avoid these sites and find the ones that are the right for you and for your country. So that's definitely something to be aware of, and that's also that there's just some service sites, they're just not for you and not for your country. That's just how it is. Another very important reason here, I have written it all on my website as well, so you can read all the details there if you want to know more. But there is this that often people try to use a VPN, sometimes for safety reasons, other times to try to hide their location, and many service sites can detect this, and if you are using a VPN or an ad blocker even, they are not able to track properly, or some of them might even see, especially if you use a VPN, see it as you're trying to cheat. Even if you do it for legit reasons, they don't know that, so they detect that, and then they will not allow you to qualify. Or if you have an ad blocker, they're not able to track that you are actually finishing or completing a survey. That's also sucks for you, because then you won't be able to actually, it won't get tracked, so you won't get paid for it. So this also might be a reason, if you have an ad blocker, if you're using a VPN, this can be a reason that you don't qualify. So now you know a little bit more about how service sites work and why you might not qualify, or why you might have problems from certain service sites. But more importantly, you need to know what can you then do to qualify for more surveys or for the most possible surveys for you. And there are several things that you can consider and try to do to get the most out of it. So I've just jumped down here to tip number 2 and 3 here, because tip number 1 is actually the main thing that you can do, and I'm going to share with that with you in a minute. But these ones are a little bit basic things you need to understand first, also because they are important before you can actually get anything out of the main tip I have for you. But the thing is that when you join a survey site, that if they, for example, have these survey providers that have many different surveys, survey routers as they're called, that means there's a lot of available surveys, but sometimes it can take a lot of patience to actually find the ones you qualify for. The thing is, once you've been a member for a while, and if you're a bit patient in the beginning and try the different routers, different routers are good for different people, and I have done myself when I join sites, and then I click them and test them, and then after a while you can kind of figure out a pattern. You will for example figure out that on this specific site you are on, that router just does not work for you, or in your country that just does not work. It just never gives you any service you ever qualify for. And and others you say like, okay, this regularly I get service there, so then you just click on what's working. That's what I mean by that. You just like figure out the pattern of the service side. In the beginning that takes a bit of patience, but after a while that makes it a lot more efficient, because you actually just figure out the pattern and which surveys and kind of survey routers you have the most options or possibilities to qualify for, and then you focus on those. And that's an important part of this, is also this, that you do not give up right away, because if you click 2 surveys and you don't qualify and you say, it's not working, that will happen on most service sites. With very few exceptions, there will be surveys you do not qualify for. And especially if it's service sites or get paid to sites with survey routers where it scans like for available surveys, it can take some patience. So if you give up just because there's 1-2 surveys you do not qualify for, you will never be able to like figure out that pattern and be able to then click on what's working. So be a little bit patient, especially in the beginning when you figure it out. But of course also not overly patient, because you need to at some point say like, okay, this server route or this service site is just not working for me. Then luckily there are like hundreds of other service sites available, and again I will show later how you find the best ones for you. So if you have joined service sites, you will know often there is like these survey profiles you can fill out. On some service sites they're used quite a bit to help match you with surveys. On others it's not used so much. And on some service sites it takes a very short time to fill them out, and you even get paid for it. On others it takes like forever, so you need to like kind of like decide that for yourself. But in general, if you fill out your profile information or these profile surveys on most service sites, that will help you to be better matched with surveys. So again, like of course, if it's a service site where it takes forever and you don't get paid for filling out the profile, then maybe you don't want to. But overall, to fill that out can be a good idea to increase your chances of finding the right surveys for you. So the next tip here, that actually kind of depends on the service site, because you can see here I had written like, take the surveys as soon as you can. That means that on some service sites they send out a survey invitation, and there's limited they need only a limited amount of answers or respondents, and the budget is like, we can get paid because they have a budget. They have somebody that needs that research, they need that feedback, and they pay the survey company to send out the survey, and they say like, we need maybe 1,000 answers. So the survey site sends out, and when they have those 1,000 answers, they will stop, right? They can't pay for 2,000 answers then. So that means on some surveys, it's unlimited, but this can also be a reason that you simply, if it's you get a survey invitation and you wait several days and then you try and don't qualify, That doesn't mean that you will always qualify if you try right away. Again, this is just something that can increase your chances of actually qualifying. And here the last two tips before we get to the main way, that the main thing that you can actually do to get the best chances is here. Like I talked about it earlier, one of the reasons you might not qualify is if you like that you use VPN or ad blockers. So if you're using any similar software like a VPN and ad blocker, you know, it can be a good idea to you know, disable it, because especially the ad blocker makes it impossible for them to actually track it, and many server sites do not allow that, and they do not allow VPNs. So some server sites do. So, you know, read in the terms and conditions of your chosen server sites. But this can be one of the reasons. You know, if you disable this, it can increase your chances. But that's, again, you know, if you have it for security reasons, that I'll leave up to you. But then just be aware that this is this can be a reason, and you need to read the terms of the specific server sites to see if that applies or not. And finally, I want to say here about you manage your expectations. And what I mean about that is that paid service sites and get paid to sites, it's one of the only ways where you can start earning right away online and completely for free without any investment whatsoever. But you need to manage your expectations. Some people start taking paid surveys because they expect to make a living from just sitting at home, clicking a few, you know, the mouse a few times, and then, you know, they can go to the beach for the rest of the day or whatever, right? That's not how paid surveys works. It's market research that companies pays for, and it will not make you rich, and it will not make you a full-time income. But if you join the right surveys sites, it can give you like real money, and most service sites actually pay out in cash also. So it's a real way to earn some extra money, but it will not make you rich, and it will not make you a full-time income. And you just need to go into it with the right expectations, because if not, you will very likely become frustrated. So now the most important tip to actually make sure to get the best chances for you is that, I mentioned it several times, different countries have the different service sites available, and this can be a hassle to find out. And this was one of the things when I first started taking paid service. I had a hard time finding qualified information about this. And you can find a lot of information, and then, you know, then you get a list and you say, oh, you can join this from your country, and you can join, but it's one of the sites that don't actually doesn't offer anything in your country, and it's so frustrating when you get to that. So for that reason, here on my website paidfromservice.com, I have here top service sites. You can go there to the menu, and I have for different countries here, and I will keep expanding with more countries, but you can see these are the ones I have at the moment of making this video, but I will keep adding more. And there's also a general list if your country is not on this list, where it's a general top 10 that have many worldwide sites available. So you know, go here and choose your country, and then you will get a list of sites that are actually available in your country and actually offers you know, opportunities in your country, and that's one of the most important things. If you take all these other things into consideration as well, and then use that on the right sites for your country, because if you join sites that don't actually have opportunities in your country, all these other tips I gave you they don't really matter. But if you join the sites that actually do have options in your country, and then you have this rest of this information with you, and consider that is the best way to qualify for the most surveys and get the most out of paid service sites and get paid to sites. So I hope this video has helped you get a good understanding of what you need to do and what you need to consider to not get frustrated about not qualifying for surveys. You know, like take these tips and this information into consideration and find the best service sites for you. And then it's definitely a real way to earn some extra money, and just do it with the right expectations. Remember that. And again, you can jump to my website, paidfromservice.com, go to the top menu there, top service sites. That's where you can find the best service sites in your country, and I will also leave a link below the video to that and to the full article about how to qualify for the more surveys, so you can actually read all the details if you want to know more than this video has to say. And of course also make sure to subscribe to my channel so you will get a notification when I release more videos, so you can get more tips and tricks about how to get the most out of survey sites and reviews about the survey sites so you can find the best ones for you.